Okay, I want to go over how to solve this three-variable system and go through the steps for it with you. So, first thing, we've got equations 1, 2, and 3, right? Of course, if we don't have at least 3, we got a problem because we have 3 variables, we need 3 equations. We're going to start by making 2 more equations because 3 wasn't enough. We needed to really get our game up. We need equations 4 and 5. What we're going to do is we've got equations 1, 2, and 3. I want to make equations 4 or 5 in just 2 variables. So when I look at this, I want to ask myself, is there any of these that are easy to eliminate? And unfortunately, like I look at the x's, the y's, and the z's, and none of them have an obvious like, oh, I see a 5 and a 5. So unfortunately, that's not going to help me. But what I am going to do is I'm going to just pick 2, and I'm going to do equations 1 and 2, and I'm going to create equation 4. So I'm going to eliminate z. The reason I'm eliminating z is I have opposite signs. That's the whole reason I picked it. There's no other reason. I don't want to change signs unless I have to. This is just pure practicality. Changing signs is messy. I lose them. I don't want to. So that's z to eliminate. So when I look at this, I'm going to multiply the top by 5 and the bottom by 7 to get plus or minus 35. I'm looking for opposite coefficients. So the top so equation 1, I'm going to take equation 1 times 5, and I'm going to do equation 2 times 7, okay? So equation 1 times 5 is going to give me 10x plus 15y plus 35z equals whatever 13 times 5 is, 65. And then equation 2 times 7 is going to be 21x plus 14y minus 35z equals negative 22 times 7 is negative 154. Okay. Then I'm going to add these 2 equations, and I'm going to get 31x plus 29y equals, those cancel out, which was my goal. 65 plus negative 154 gives me negative 89. So this is now equation 4. Okay, now I'm going to make an equation 5, and I'm going to use equations 1 and 3 to make equations 5. Now the reason I'm choosing 1 and 3 again, I'm just looking at opposite signs. There's no other reason. You can pick whatever you want. You do need to, at this point, make sure you're also still eliminating z. Eliminating x at this point isn't going to help you because you're not going to get that 2-variable system. So I'm going to take equation 1, and now I'm going to times it by, let's see here, by 3. And then I'm going to take equation 3 and times it by 7, which is going to give me my plus or minus 21. Okay, so equation 1 is going to be 6x plus 9y minus 21z equals, let's see, I was timesing by 3. 3 times 13 is 39. Okay. Then I'm going to do the second one. I'm going to do it times 7. So 35x, 5 times 7. 7 times 7 is 49. Plus. Okay, and this was a minus. Keep my signs right, just so we know. 49y. Okay, so let's see here. I'm in this one. Minus 21z, and then I have negative 28 times 7, which gives me negative 196. So now I'm going to add, this is 41x plus 58y equals 39 minus 196. Equals negative 157, and this is equation 5. Notice now equations 4 and 5 are in, I'm going to rewrite down here, 31x plus 29y equals negative 89. So this was my equation 4 from above. I am in just x and y. I have a 2-variable system, and I'm like, yay, this is something I can work with, okay? Now I want to solve this using the methods from last section. So to do that, I need to now do this via elimination or substitution. Since I have all coefficients, I'm going to use elimination. And what I should notice is this right here. If I times it by 2, I get 58. So I'm going to times this by -2. The reason I want opposite signs, right? So I'm going to change all the signs. The first one's going to stay as say. Then I'm going to take equation 4 and times it by -2. -62x minus 58y, this was an 8, equals -89 times -2. Man, I'm getting some big numbers, 178. So now I come down here, so 41 minus 62, I get -21x equals -157 plus 178, 21. So x, all that work is -1. Now I'm going to start back solving. So I want to take this and I want to plug it into either equations 4 or 5. Don't go back to 1, 2, or 3 because I only have one variable. I want to find that y, so I want equations 4 or 5, which is in terms of x and y. So I'm going to do 41 times -1 plus 58y equals, so I'm just doing equation 5 because it was on the top. There was no other logic to that. Obviously, choose whatever you think is going to be easier. So this is 58y equals, going to add the 41, so it's going to be a -41. So when we move to their side, it becomes positive, equals -116 divided by 58, and y equals -2. Okay. Now that I have two answers, I need to go all the way back to equations 1, 2, or 3 to find the z I eliminated, right? So I'm going to use that top one. Again, it's whatever one you think is easier. Doesn't really matter. Again, I would usually pick whatever I think is easiest. This one has all positives. I like all positives. Let's see here. Plus 3y plus c equals 13. Okay. So this was 2 times -1 plus 3 times -2 plus 7z equals 13. So -2 minus 6 plus 7z equals 13. So let's see here. This is -8 plus 7z equals 13. And then 13 plus 8 gives me 21. So 7z equals 21 plus 8 plus 8z equals 3. So then my solution is -1, -2, 3. And we write it as an ordered pair, x, y, z. Okay, so definitely long and messy, lots of places to make small arithmetic mistakes. So you really need to watch yourself as you work through it. The biggest thing too is don't let yourself get mixed in the middle. So what are the steps? The steps are, first, you're going to take this, you're going to make equations 4 or 5 in 2 variables. Make sure you eliminate the same variable. I eliminated z. You can always decide, I'm always going to eliminate z or whatever, but obviously you usually try to pick whatever's the easiest to eliminate. I did that. I got my equations 4 or 5. Then I went back to my 2 variable methods and solved equations 4 and 5 completely, getting x and y. Once I had that, then I went back to one of the original equations, 1, 2, or 3, doesn't matter which one, to find that z I'd eliminated to begin with. Okay, so there's lots of choices along this method. Very few choices are wrong. Some are definitely long detours. So for instance, you can definitely make these problems harder by picking, a path that requires more work, but they all will work. So hopefully this helps you set up this process and get used to all the different steps involved.